If they are impounding cars or seizing equipment, it'd be great if they use their PIO, their press information officer, to kind of put that information out as a way to discourage what's going on. There is a lot of money in these vehicles with these electronics, and if they're losing that vehicle and it's being impounded, then that could potentially be a problem. I know that there were some of the residents, our frequent callers in town, were looking for some legislative assistance on the Pennsylvania side of the bridge. I can't speak to that, but I know that at least the commitment from the inspector and Captain Newsom, they seem like they understand the issue at hand and trying to bring some relief to our residents on this side of the bridge. Next thing I'm going to just talk about real quick is Corporal Misty Weiss is working on a program right now, and we're addressing the issue of autism. And one of the things that we're going to be looking for is to put together a sticker, which is in process now, but I'll show you what that'll look like. So what that is right there is a sticker we're going to be offering to families in town. There'll be a questionnaire for them to complete. We're hoping to get this stood up by later this month, early next month, but that our officers will train them in-house. They know if they come up and that sticker's on the door that there's a child or a person inside with autism. That kind of changes the dynamic that we're going into. There's certain things that, if you have a child who has autism, you understand that lights and sirens and loud noises, and then there's certain actions on their part which we could perceive as aggressive actions because of the way, lack of eye contact, maybe certain movements. And if you ever seen a child who has stimulating motions or movements, sometimes it could be a step like that. So we want to kind of just make sure that we're working with the community. We have had a couple parents come up to us over the last couple of years and sit down and just explain to us what's going on. And generally, Misty's been one of our point persons on that. So we're hoping to get this program stood up. It was a great idea on her part, and we have some more that we're working on as well under the Community Affairs Officer. The next topic to just talk about real quick is probably something you've been hearing about in the news lately, but it's a drug called xylazine. So xylazine is a veterinary central nervous system depressant, and I'll say that what we are seeing happening right now through New Jersey Drug Monitoring Initiative is what happened with fentanyl. So starting probably 2010, 2011, we started seeing fentanyl being placed in the heroin baggies. As we moved later towards 2020, now you have almost pure fentanyl bags with very little heroin inside of them. It's rare, but it's a high number of fentanyl. Well, now you're mixing xylazine into the mix. So if you've ever gone on any social media videos and you look at certain sections of Philly, Kensington was recently in the news for this, the effects of xylazine is just absolutely devastating. The physical effects to the human body is devastating. The effects to what happens to the user, almost in a comatose state, but still standing up on their feet. It's very disturbing to see. So what's happening now is they're seeing an increased presence of xylazine, just like fentanyl started. Now we're seeing xylazine getting mixed into everything. So the Drug Monitoring Initiative has been pushing some information out to all of us. It's something obviously we're monitoring right now. It is concerning. It is a drug that is highly addictive. It is a drug that can just run through an area. And, for us, we're seeing it, coming out of areas like Camden, coming out of areas like Philadelphia that surround us. So, we're on high alert to see if some of that's coming across our way. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that because I know it has been in the news lately. It is something to be concerned about. And I just end that piece with this. We run straight to treatment program Monday nights from 4 to 8. All you got to do is come up to the police lobby. I have gotten the county prosecutor's office to agree that any time we're Narcaning folks, that when the recovery coach comes on Monday nights, they're following up with anybody who's been Narcan the week before. They're here. Why not follow up with folks, give them a second opportunity to enter recovery? We have Operation Helping Hand available 24/7. All you got to do is walk into the PD, tell us that you need help. We'll reach out to the recovery coach through Operation Helping Hand, and we'll go from there. One of the struggles or challenges that we face right now is something that Corporal Weiss just dealt with, where somebody needed some assistance, but they didn't have medical insurance. The beds are very limited. Inpatient beds are very limited, and depending on the drug of choice that you're addicted to can also dictate what happens there. So, that's one of the challenges, and I know she was addressing that with our contact at the prosecutor's office, like what more could be done? Is there something that we could do to try to, push that discussion further? But the prosecutor's office has been very open to that. The last piece of that is we do the GAP initiative. If you remember, the GAP initiative is the proactive response that we do out in the community. We'll run that various days of the week. We'll partner up with the prosecutor's office and a recovery coach. We've been to the hotel district. We've been to apartment complexes. Anywhere where we know that we're having an issue or we're seeing some overdoses, we try to go out proactively, literally knock on doors and engage with folks. We brought down the Hope One bus, and there's services that are packaged up within the Hope One bus. And then obviously, we have the VOA on staff here for any needs that you might have. And we have Legacy Treatment Services here with us generally on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for anybody who needs assistance on the mental health side. So I wanted to kind of just package that all up, just to remind everybody, hey, here's the services that we have available that we can reach out and touch. And Assistant Prosecutor Melissa Amara, who's been terrific working with her, she's kind of our point person on all this. And I know we stay tethered and engaged with her, with Lieutenant Nolan, who oversees the GAP initiative, and Corporal Weiss. The last thing I'm just going to touch on is Karen Ann and Ripley have been accepted into the Alpha and Omega therapy program.
Great.
I've been coordinating with Susan to get this up and running, so we're just waiting to square away some paperwork for Karen Ann. She's very, very excited. Right now, Ripley goes around, has the routine down of stopping in to see everybody. Obviously, anybody who's got Scooby snacks seems to be at the top of the visiting list.
Right.
And that seems to be the trick. So I told Karen Ann we're going to have to make sure Ripley's getting plenty of exercise here to stay mobile. But she's very excited. We're looking forward to it. I think it'll be another element that we'll be able to add to not just the community, but in-house here with our team. Is we work with Susan and Terry just to continue to bridge any gaps that may have exist between the police department and the township. Now I think we're working so closely together. It's a great partnership, and Misty being up here I think has just been a tremendous gap filler for us. So anything that folks need, Misty's available up here, and she's tethered to us downstairs. So that is my report.
I just have one. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Yes, you may.
The xylazine,
Yes.
does that affect anyone that touches it like the, what's the other stuff?
So you're talking fentanyl. So
Fentanyl, yeah.
I don't believe it is set up the same as fentanyl. So fentanyl, like a speck of dust of fentanyl, is enough to potentially
Yes.
kill you.
Yes.
Xylazine, because it's an animal, basically an animal sedative or tranquilizer, it's not necessarily set up the same
Okay.
way. I wouldn't be handling
No,
any
no.
street drug. Let me be clear about that, right? But fentanyl and carfentanil, which is even a more potent version of fentanyl, we stopped doing drug testing at the side of the road when we deal with people, because there's been occasions, it's happened in New Jersey, where officers unfortunately handled something. Just recently happened not long ago where officers were doing a search warrant. Somebody knocked into some stuff. It particleized up into the air. The officers breathed it in, unknowingly breathing in fentanyl, and then all started crashing and going unconscious, and they had to Narcan these officers. So, we have to be particularly careful whenever we're handling anything along this way. But, fentanyl is a whole different level when you're talking about it. The problem with xylazine is what it does to the user on the inside coming out. And that's the scary thing you see. And again, trust me, when you see a xylazine addict, you will not forget what you see. So that's why it's so important that if we have folks at home that know they have family members who are struggling, reach out to us. We're happy to put you in touch with the recovery coach, do whatever we can to try to get them the help that they need before it takes a tragic turn.
Thank you.
Not only does xylazine affect your inside, but there was an article about the other day, it causes necrotizing fasciitis. You get sores, it eats away your skin.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Wow.
And what does it do to animals?
Well, it's used within a proper setting like anything,
Yeah.
I'm sure under the care of a licensed, vet, that it's handled properly, but when you're packaging it up and you're using it in this fashion where, you're mixing it with potential fentanyl and you're injecting it, snorting it, smoking it, whatever the means of ingestion is, that's where the concern comes in.
Well,
So-
there was a previous
there was a
animal
Tranquilizer.
tranquilizer that was common.
Yeah, that was ketamine, so they call it Special K.
Special,
And,
okay.
and that was a while back,
Yeah.
but if you remember, people were going into the trash bags of vets, and they were stealing the little bit that was left and then processing that to use it in a form that they can ingest it. So, yeah, it's all concerning, but when I'm looking at the numbers and the reports coming out from the Drug Monitoring Initiative, it just brings me right back to what I saw happening with fentanyl, and it's
Yeah.
why it's worth a discussion and, just to kind of continue to talk about what we're seeing happening, because all this is just bad, and the sooner we can get somebody help, the better.
Yes, thank you.
Chief, are Monday nights turning out any better? Getting more,
So I would say we're not having people knocking the doors down to come and see us, but with this shift, which just happened the other week, when I addressed it with Assistant Prosecutor O'Meara about trying to get the recovery coaches to go and follow up, that's at least getting a dialogue going, where we would Narcan somebody, and in our county, we don't force them to go to the hospital. Other counties do, we don't. So it was like you Narcan the subject, they regain consciousness, and then they tell you, they wave you off, they don't want any help. And then we walk away. So now I feel better that I got the recovery coaches to circle back to them, and hopefully it's going to improve what we see. We have had family members come in and talk to us about other family members who are struggling with addiction, and that's happened, so we don't necessarily count that on our side, but those conversations are happening. And, the biggest thing is just catching somebody at the right time that they accept help, right? And then once that happens, that process needs to move, and that's the frustration sometimes that we feel, that it doesn't move at the pace that the police would like it to move at.
Yeah.
And it moves at the pace that, the medical or social services side moves at, which sometimes can be a little bit more complicated because of insurance-related issues and things of that nature. But I don't want that to discourage people. We'll do whatever we can to get them help and get them connected to services.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you know how many towns in Burlington County actually have that in place where that you
So
would send them right to treatment?
right now, talking with Lieutenant Nolan, I believe they have coverage 7 days a week for straight to treatment. So the recovery coaches, they bounce around the different towns. And I know, I don't want to say the town, but a neighboring town wasn't getting a lot of traffic through the door. So they maintain the program, but if somebody comes in, they just call their detective out to come in and deal with the folks, right? So,
But when you get the Narcan, do you know how many towns are actually forcing them to go?
well, that's counties because it's up
County.
to the county prosecutor, and I don't have a number on that. I know that I went to a training before in Gloucester County, and this was probably back in maybe 2008, 2009.
Long time ago.
They, at that time, were, we issued Narcan or deployed Narcan, they were forcing people to go to treatment. So, that was one of the changes. And I had talked to Prosecutor Caffina about it when he took over here, and he had indicated that the discussion's a larger discussion beyond law enforcement because you have the EMS world involved. And then in order to stand that up, you have to have a recovery coach that's going to meet them at the ER because that's the time to get...
So everything's connected.
Everything's connected. So we just couldn't get that stitched together in Burlington County. I get concerned because you issue Narcan, and depending on the dose of fentanyl that you took, that Narcan wears off. And could you potentially relapse, if you've used a higher dose? And that's where, I would prefer to see people go to the hospital and have a recovery coach on standby waiting there. But that model has never really manifested in our county.
Only in Camden County?
It was Gloucester.
Oh, Gloucester
It was
County.
Gloucester
Okay.
County, yeah. Yep.
Oh, Maybe coming.
We'll see.
Thank you.
All right, Chief, thank you.
You're welcome.
Site plan.
Yes, there was. Tuesday night, April 4th, there were 3 applications. One was for the Dunkin' Donuts Center at the end of Fellowship Road behind the self-storage. They had at one time a barber, a beauty salon in there that moved on, and a lady from Cherry Hill who lost her lease wanted to go in there to do hair, eyelashes, and nails. So it seemed as though they had already had something, and we told them to go get a license and go to work. The next was the site pad at Lenola Road behind the Wawa, the one that P.J. Wellingham was supposed to build on. Naturally, P.J.'s is sold, that has gone by the wayside. A car wash came in, they wanted to go in there. Kind of a case like the chief talked about, 20 pounds of stuff.
Potatoes.
Yeah, this was not potatoes. In an 8-pound bag. So we talked to them. They're going to go back to the drawing board. They didn't come very prepared. There was an idea they wanted to put out. They did. We did not accept it very well because it just didn't make any sense. They had no drainage, they had no parking, they had no circulation.
And there's another one like
Yeah, is
5 doors from there, right? It's
Yeah,
gonna
it
be-
But
doesn't
isn't that
matter.
closed? Is that closed?
Yeah, they've come through for permits and all, they're supposed to be reopening.
Oh, okay.
Am I correct?
They're ready.
Okay.
So they're going to go back to the drawing board and see what they can do. And then finally, an application came in for 34 North Pine, which used to be Capital Beverage, and prior to that was Bradley Sheet Metal. Eastern Lift Truck was in the process, is in the process of purchasing that. If they could get permission to do what they wanted to do, what they want to do is very quiet. They going to have a warehouse for their loading dock and overhead door portion of their business. So nothing is done there other than they warehouse the product. So if one of the Amazon calls and says our loading dock is down, they'll send a truck over there, pick up a new dock and all the things they think they'll need, and they go out to the site and do the work. So the only thing they get in there is deliveries in and service out. They came to zoning board last night, and after a pretty extended meeting, they were approved with, I think, 14 or 15 items that they have to address. They have neighbors that were getting pretty fussy last night about different things, and understandably so, with the neighbors from Holly Avenue, their backyards. So we're going to put up some buffering and probably a lot of buffering, and they gave some restrictions, but they were approved, so I'm sure Dan will go on and make the purchase of the property and we'll get to work. And that's the end of my report on the site plan.
Okay. How about advisory board?
I would love to. Chief cut me down some, so that's good, because he talked about Misty. At first, Linda announced that the American flags are in. Sterling Martin will have them prepared to be hung before Memorial Day. Our township manager reported the township budget will be adopted on April 26th. The new ordinance for the advisory is now in place. Corporal Misty Weiss reported the Cinderella project went extremely well. They received about 200 dresses. They were able to help 20 students with dresses and shoes. Ed & Sons is buying them flowers. Lisa from Ed & Sons is setting up hair and makeup for the girls who want it. The autism stickers, Misty said already.
They're in manufacture right now?
Okay,
Yes.
well, I don't want to start anything. Tell me what she said.
It's not new or used, you'll be okay.
Yeah, right. Narcan training is April 29th, 11 to 1. Detective Sergeant Scott Wallace reported that department is down many officers, and some more are retiring. There are not many qualified recruits out there, not many interested. Dave Carruthers reported they are just about finished with the weeding, I thought it said weeding, and are working on the mulching. May 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th is household cleanup days at the township yard. May 13th is shredding day. Joanne Mortimer reported for Main Street. April 27th, the next bingo is sold out. May 5th, they are holding a Cinco de Mayo party at the Happy Hour. June 12th is their food truck festival. They are working on new signs for businesses and window cleaning for businesses. And they're also getting prices on power washing the sidewalks. Will Gray of Woodard and Curran reported Maple Shade won best tasting water again. He was very proud of that, and we should all be. And hydrant flushing started on April 9th, and it'll go for 3 weeks. It'll be done on the overnight hours from 10 to 6, 10 to 4, something like that.
They used to put out a map. I haven't seen the map as to what they've completed so far.
They did the last time they did flushing.
But I haven't seen, what they sent out the thing, but they haven't sent any other notifications, like with the map saying this section's done, this section's done.
It's
If I had-
going to be done, yeah.
Huh? Yeah, what has to be done yet?
Next, yeah.
I'll give Will a
We can ask
call
them,
tomorrow.
yeah, we can ask them and find out if they're going to still do that.
Yeah, because I had like yellow water one day, and I said, we don't usually get done until the end.
The end,
So
yeah,
I was just wondering,
what's happening. We can ask them
Yeah.
tomorrow.
because usually they do
We'll
this,
send one
you
to
know, they send
Robert,
it
yeah.
out and they have it,
Will's on
red is
vacation.
done and blue is not done yet, or
Right.
whatever.
Okay.
That completes my report. Thank you, sir. Certainly.
Any old business not on the agenda? Any new business?
Yes.
Mayor? No, I'm there.
Susan, you know you had that title too?
I want it.
Never
I
mind.
want it.
It's an,
I'm
it's an,
advocating.
it's an M. It's
Come
an
on,
M.
Emily, never mind.
The new business is, we received, we have a new business that went over at 38 and Runner Road, that tint business.
Tim World.
Tim World. He had come in, very nice young man that had come in, and had questioned about the New Jersey Transit bus stop. I believe, Chief, you might have gotten the paper. Did you get paperwork too?
I just
You
just
got-
opened it up
just
before I
op-
came up here.
So, yeah, I opened it up this afternoon, so I figured out we'll put it. And he was very nice. He had sent some pictures up to me too to show what was going on. He was asking about whether or not township would support having that bus stop there, having either a new bus stop, like a
An
enclosure put there. Somebody must have called because he wanted the enclosure put there, and instead New Jersey Transit has sent us paperwork that said they're going to move it. So he'll be happy. I mean, the pictures he showed shows like people literally sitting
On the curb.
on
No,
on his
on the
property,
sign.
like
Ah.
on his, yeah, they're sitting on his. So I was going to speak to you and say, oh, I think this is something that we should support. Let's go. I was going to go back to him because I did ask him about, oh, well, would you pay for the enclosure, because that, make sure that it stays up, keeps it, that we didn't have to. But then New Jersey Transit sent us that they're going to move the bus stop. So
Where are they going to move it to, did they say?
yeah.
Yeah,
You want to tell them where they're moving?
38 in Buttonwood. So the
In front of
picture,
Mercy
the
Green.
picture is like all the washed out mulch from the garden bed.
Yeah.
This is where they're taking a picture. So it's, it's right by the Dunkin' Donuts at the corner right there, yeah. Yeah. I don't know, there's, Susan's got the picture right there for you.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. So, I don't know. I'm going to talk more to the. I was going to wait to talk to you a little bit more about it, but I mean, if we don't think
Yeah.
this is a good spot, if I can get that business to pay for that one there, I mean,
Maybe they can keep it
Yeah.
there.
they keep it there. I just.
Didn't you, who mentioned it when they came before planning? It was you, Steve, that you said something about, did the kids, is that a school bus stop too?
No, not that I know of, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
so
think
No,
they
that's
didn't
just-
mention
it's
about
actually-
the same kids sitting there.
To me, it's odd in where it's at, that it's as busy
Right.
as
It's
it
further
is.
down. They want it further down.
But it's a pretty
from the
big,
flood
a
place.
pretty
They want it
busy
literally
bus
right
stop. I guess people
right
come
here.
from the
Where
motels
they wanna put
maybe,
it.
people come
Right at
walking
the
down
Dunkin'
from
Donuts.
the apartments.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually
Yeah.
a busy bus stop.
Yeah, this is where NJ Transit is saying to put it, which is right there at the Dunkin'
So
Donuts.
right on the curve of the
Right at the
street,
curve,
that
right at
seems
the curve.
weird.
I don't think that's a good
And
spot.
I don't, if there's a structure, I don't even know where you're putting
Yeah,
that
it's-
structure.
Right.
Yeah.
The other location has room for a
Has
structure.
room.
And I don't know if the gentleman from Transit understands really what's going to happen if you
Yeah.
push them down there. Where are they going to sit? Because most people want to sit down. They don't want to be
Right.
standing the whole time.
Yeah.
And the other location at least could allow for that structure where people could sit inside, get out of the rain or the snow, waiting for the bus to come.
I think traffic-wise too, I mean, people come flying down 38 and make that turn on the
Absolutely.
Buttonwood there. I mean, someone,
And
I don't
first
think
thing
there's
you
enough
know-
space. I don't think you want a
wonder
bus
why they
stop
would move it
stopping
from
there. I mean, but anyway, so my point is that if you're okay, and we can go back and after obviously the police look at it and everything, if it does stay at 38 and Rudder Row, are you okay with saying, yes, let's support a structure at that spot? But I'm going to get the business owner to pay
What-
for it and take
What
care
would
of
be
it.
the difference if they were going to move it anyway and put a structure there? Why don't they just pay for it and put the structure where it was before?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think this is actually a good spot. When I opened this, I
So
was
you're
like,
saying the business has to pay for that?
well, no, they don't
yes,
have
right.
to, but the municipality doesn't want to be responsible. Once it goes up, the municipality becomes responsible for the structure.
Ah,
So
even
glass
though we
breaks
didn't
out.
put it up?
Correct.
And it belongs to
Glass,
New Jersey Transit?
correct, and that's basically what you're signing, is saying that you are going, that the municipality's saying, yep, you can put one there, and yep, we're going to take responsibility for
No,
it.
we're not.
I think
We
in
don't,
planning,
right, we
the-
don't want to.
Yeah,
Glass
we
is
don't like it.
expensive.
the thing that was
thank
brought
you.
up
we
in
don't want
planning
that.
was getting a trash can and or some
Yeah,
sort
oh,
of bench
okay,
out there
that's- you're
because
right.
they were just leaving trash all over the
Yes.
restaurant wall.
And they
That's
are.
what it was.
Yeah.
The pictures that this gentleman showed me, he clearly is, they're leaving stuff all over. I mean, they're sitting on his windowsill, I don't want to say that, it's not nice to say, but, I mean, they didn't all print out. But yes, people are sitting on his windowsill, they're leaving trash and whatnot, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I was shocked when I
That's
saw
not
it come down. I was like, this isn't what he asked for.
Well, there's another bus stop just up the
Mill Road.
Up Mill
Road.
Road,
right.
right?
I mean, it's like bus stop.
And you don't- you
There's
don't
at
want
least a
them
little bit of a
sitting-
gap
First Thing, you know, has
between
outdoor
Rudder
seating.
Row
Yes,
and
yeah.
where we're at
You
at
don't want them
Mill.
sitting out
So,
there.
So
Yeah.
that's where we are with that. And then the other was, I know a couple of you, or some of you, one of you at least, received a telephone call or an email about an organization using our senior center here. And we implemented, remember in one of my activity reports, I had told you that we implemented a $25 cleaning fee for these outside organizations because we are just getting hammered with cleaning over there. And just so you know, it's a $25 fee every time that they use the room. And I did look up, we have Hurley's Heroes, that's an outside group that's paying a fee for the room. Habitat for Humanity uses the rooms, they pay. The Red Cross pays. Every class that comes in and pays, they pay the municipality a portion of the kids that are there. Our arts group, they're paying. So this one group that does not want to pay and wants to offer landscaping, we'll just call it, services, it really would not be the right thing. They need to pay us the $25 for the cleaning fee. They're using the
Go-
room
go
every
get another
Saturday.
landscape job and come up with
once a month,
$25.
one Saturday every month. They are an outside organization. I realize that the person running it is a township resident. But Lauren shouldn't have to be responsible to have to come up then and clean it up. Misty has cleaned the room, Dara has cleaned the room, Terry has cleaned the room. We've all been cleaning the room because the organizations are not. $25 is a very minuscule fee to ask them to pay to make
Can we
sure.
get somebody to really clean up for $25? Is
No.
my question.
No, I mean, honestly, it's covering the supplies is what it's costing us to take the trash, to take the trash bags, to make sure that there's something we clean. And they also, they're also using the kitchen area too, so.
So doesn't the cleaning people, do they go in and clean that room?
They do.
Okay.
They do, but what was happening is, the cleaning people are here 3 days a week.
Right.
So like on the weekend, on the weekends that they're using it, we're cleaning,
Cleaning,
which
okay.
again, Lauren doesn't have a problem going in and taking trash and whatnot, but when you're leaving
Shouldn't have to.
food and,
Yeah, shouldn't
full cups of soda and everything, come on, like,
Okay.
can't just use the room for free. There are costs to us and to the municipality. So,
If you leave it in a bad situation, next time you ask, they're not gonna let you use it.
listen, we even
Or
told
the
the
fee goes from
seniors,
$25 to
seniors
$250.
that, like, they needed to clean up, and they are good, they take their trash out, and it's all good, so I just think it's the way to go. So, That's all I have for new business.
If I could make a comment, I received a call from a resident, could not have anything more nice to say about Mike Andrzej. He just went over and above and, you know, just, she was absolutely thrilled to death with it.
Oh, yeah, Mike is
He
great.
must not have seen Mike today then.
Why, did they think?
Everybody was kind of in a mood today around here.
No, he went above and beyond and resolved an ongoing issue that he thought was resolved and it wasn't, and jumped right back in and got it handled, so.
There has definitely been a change in the code enforcement side of things, and things are getting done. So, and it is nice to see, and I don't know, if you drive around, you can see there is a difference. It's definitely being noticed, so, and it's appreciated, so.
All right, any other new business not on the agenda? All right, if not, I guess we need a motion to go back into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, please shut off the timer, go back into